Former Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro recently gave an interview to journalist Leo Dias, where he discussed various topics, including a personal health revelation, political commentary, and his views on Brazilian cinema. The conversation sparked significant debate, especially regarding his remarks on actress Fernanda Torres and the film I'm Still Here. One of the most unexpected moments in the interview was Bolsonaro's admission regarding his health. Initially, he dismissed reports about his alleged impotence as fake news. However, he then acknowledged that he suffers from erectile dysfunction and has undergone testosterone implantation due to a lack of natural testosterone production. This revelation stood in contrast to recent remarks by one of his political supporters, who had praised Bolsonaro as a symbol of masculinity. This contradiction led to discussions about the personal and political narratives surrounding Bolsonaro. It also raised questions about the broader use of masculinity in political rhetoric, particularly in the context of Bolsonaro's leadership style. During the interview, Bolsonaro shifted focus to Brazilian cinema, particularly criticizing the film I'm Still Here. Directed by acclaimed filmmaker Walter Salles, the movie has received international recognition and is considered a strong contender at the upcoming Academy Awards. With its compelling storytelling and powerful performances, the film has sparked discussions about Brazil's past, particularly regarding political repression and the lingering impact of the military dictatorship. One of the standout performances in the film comes from Fernanda Torres, whose portrayal of a woman grappling with her family's tragic history has been widely praised. Some critics and film analysts have even speculated that she could secure an Oscar nomination, an achievement that would further elevate Brazil's presence in global cinema. However, Bolsonaro dismissed the film outright, branding it as politically motivated and suggesting that it serves as a tool for ideological propaganda rather than genuine artistic expression. His criticism was not limited to the film's themes. In a remark that quickly drew attention, Bolsonaro stated, "The movie should have started with me." While this comment was likely made in jest, it underscores a recurring pattern in his political rhetoric, one in which he positions himself as the central figure in Brazil's contemporary history. This tendency has been evident throughout his career, from his speeches framing himself as a misunderstood patriot to his assertions that his presidency marked a turning point for the nation. Bolsonaro's dismissal of I'm Still Here also fits within his broader stance on Brazilian cinema. His administration was frequently at odds with the country's film industry, particularly regarding government funding for projects that addressed social and political issues. Under his leadership, the National Cinema Agency, ANCINE, faced restrictions that many filmmakers saw as a form of indirect censorship, limiting support for projects that tackled themes Bolsonaro and his allies deemed controversial. In contrast, I Am Still Here has been embraced by critics and audiences as a film that sheds light on a critical period in Brazil's history. Its success has sparked renewed conversations about the role of cinema in shaping collective memory and addressing historical injustices. Bolsonaro's attempt to discredit the film, therefore, reflects a larger cultural divide, one between those who see art as a means of confronting the past and those who argue that it is being used as a political weapon. By dismissing I'm Still Here, Bolsonaro not only downplayed the film's significance, but also reignited debates about artistic freedom in Brazil. His remarks drew swift reactions from members of the country's film industry, with many seeing his comments as yet another attempt to undermine narratives that challenge his political ideology. Whether intentional or not, his criticism has only amplified interest in the film, potentially boosting its visibility ahead of the awards season. Bolsonaro's criticism of the film took a personal turn when he referenced the Paiva family. He has frequently spoken about Rubens Paiva, a Brazilian politician who was forcibly disappeared during the military dictatorship. Bolsonaro has long been fascinated with the Paiva family, often discussing their influence in El Dorado, his hometown. In the interview, when asked if he had seen I'm Still Here, Bolsonaro avoided a direct answer. Instead, he linked the film's themes to his childhood memories of El Dorado, mentioning that military operations had taken place there in the 1970s. He implied that the Paiva family had connections to the events of that time. Despite historical evidence contradicting political undertones, Bolsonaro criticized Fernanda Torres for suggesting that I'm Still Here would not have been possible to produce under his government. He argued that he had never banned any films, claiming that his administration merely revised cultural policies, such as the Rouanet Law. which provides funding for artistic projects. However, Bolsonaro's claim was challenged during the interview. Leo Diaz pointed out that certain artists and filmmakers face difficulties under his administration, including scrutiny from the Federal Revenue Service. Bolsonaro dismissed these concerns, saying, "That's just what I heard. But I never ordered anything like that." Despite his insistence that his government did not suppress artistic freedom, records from his presidency suggest otherwise. Several films faced funding cuts, censorship, or bureaucratic delays. His administration also sought greater control over ONCINE, Brazil's national film agency, by attempting to relocate its headquarters to Brasilia, while Bolsonaro denied accusations of censorship. Reports indicate that multiple film projects were affected during his presidency. One of the most notable examples was Marighella, a film about the revolutionary Carlos Marighella. The film's release was delayed for years due to what many perceived as political interference. Similarly, in 2019, Bolsonaro's government blocked funding for TV series that featured LGBTQ+ themes, leading to public outcry. These actions have led critics to argue that Bolsonaro's policies directly harmed the Brazilian film industry, contradicting his claims of neutrality. Bolsonaro's critique of "I'm Still Here" was not limited to the film itself. He also directed sharp remarks at actress Fernanda Torres, questioning her stance on artistic freedom and dismissing concerns about government interference in cultural productions. In the interview, Bolsonaro appeared to mock Torres' suggestion that the film would have faced suppression under his administration, calling such claims exaggerated and baseless. He insisted that no film was ever censored during his presidency, and portrayed himself as a defender of free expression. However, his assertion stands in contrast to the growing evidence of state-imposed restrictions on the film industry during his tenure. Under Bolsonaro's government, cultural institutions, such as the National Cinema Agency, (ANSIGN), faced increasing political pressure. Funding for projects deemed politically sensitive was frequently delayed or denied, particularly for films addressing themes such as LGBTQ+ rights, racial inequality, and historical injustices. In some cases, filmmakers reported bureaucratic hurdles that effectively blocked certain productions from receiving public funding. These policies, while not outright bans, created an environment in which filmmakers had to navigate a landscape of ideological scrutiny, something many saw as an indirect form of censorship. Fernanda Torres, a veteran of Brazilian cinema, has been vocal about the importance of artistic independence. Her performance in "I'm Still Here" has been widely praised, with critics highlighting her ability to convey deep emotional complexity. But her outspoken nature has also made her a target for Bolsonaro and his supporters, who often frame prominent artists as members of a political elite disconnected from the average Brazilian. His criticism of Torres fits into a broader pattern of hostility toward cultural figures who challenge his administration's policies or historical narratives. The backlash to Bolsonaro's comments was swift. Members of the Brazilian artistic community condemned his remarks, pointing out that his administration actively sought to reshape the country's cultural landscape by defunding projects and promoting conservative narratives. Prominent filmmakers, actors, and cultural critics took to social media to defend Torres and highlight the broader impact of Bolsonaro's policies on creative expression in Brazil. Some noted that while direct censorship may not have been officially enforced, the climate of fear and financial control over cultural institutions had a chilling effect on artistic freedom. This renewed debate over cultural censorship under Bolsonaro's leadership raises larger questions about the role of government in the arts. While Bolsonaro and his supporters argue that limiting public funding for films with political themes is a matter of fiscal responsibility, critics see it as an attempt to control public discourse. The controversy surrounding "I'm Still Here" and Bolsonaro's remarks about Fernanda Torres underscore the ongoing struggle over who gets to shape Brazil's historical and cultural narratives, and whether artists should have the freedom to an outspoken defender of Brazil's military dictatorship, 1964 to 1985. In the interview, he reiterated his view that the regime had acted in the country's best interest. He dismissed historical records of state-sponsored torture and disappearances, instead emphasizing what he described as the military's role in maintaining order. His discussion of the Paiva family fits into this broader narrative. Bolsonaro has repeatedly downplayed the disappearance of Rubens Paiva, a left-wing politician who was tortured and killed by the military regime. By framing the Paiva family's presence in El Dorado as part of a larger political conspiracy, Bolsonaro attempted to discredit both the film I'm Still Here and the historical accounts it highlights. The interview immediately generated reactions across Brazil's political spectrum. Supporters of Bolsonaro praised his outspokenness, claiming that he was simply countering media narratives. Meanwhile, critics accused him of distorting history and undermining artistic freedom. Members of Brazil's film industry expressed concerns over Bolsonaro's dismissive attitude toward I'm Still Here, warning that such rhetoric could harm the international perception of Brazilian cinema. Many pointed out that the film's success was a testament to the country's rich cultural heritage and should be celebrated rather than criticized. Bolsonaro's interview with Leo Dias was yet another example of his ability to stir controversy. His comments on I'm Still Here, Fernanda Torres, and the Paiva family reignited debates about his presidency, his stance on Brazil's military past, and his approach to culture and artistic expression. As Brazil prepares for its next chapter, in both politics and cinema, the clash between Bolsonaro's narrative and the realities of artistic freedom continues to be a point of contention. Whether his comments will have a lasting impact remains to be seen, but one thing is certain: Bolsonaro's presence in the political and cultural landscape of Brazil remains as polarizing as ever. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. Share your thoughts in the comments. Do you agree with Bolsonaro's remarks? Don't forget to hit the bell icon so you never miss an update on our latest videos. Stay tuned for more engaging content,